Welcome to the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zorkel Profiles. I'm here with my co-host, community advocate, speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Tracy Kawa. Tracy, a wonderful guest today, Kristi Levig. Kristi started her professional career at Waxing the City, working as a serologist straight at the studio based in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and quickly realized her passion for the industry. With mentorship from the location's franchisee, Kristi then transitioned into a management role, learning the ins and outs of running a business. Following the original franchisee's retirement, Kristi seized the opportunity to take the next step and become a franchise owner herself. Today, she owns 2 studios, and I think in process of a third, and remains dedicated to fostering the company's strong culture, with most of her employees staying with her for more than 5 years, which is a big deal in today's labor world. So welcome to the show, Kristi.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're
Yeah,
excited.
we're very excited. So I understand that you come from a family of entrepreneurs. You have a number of siblings. I'm sure our listeners would want to hear more about that.
Yeah. So my parents owned a business my whole life. That's how they supported our family. And growing up, I've always liked that. And my siblings also own businesses as well. So I
Mhm.
think that they kind of showed us the positives in owning businesses and what it can do for your family. And we really looked up to that. And it obviously made an impact on what we do in our lives now.
Clearly, all 4 of you are now entrepreneurs. Is that right?
There are 3 out of 4,
3 of
yes.
the 4. Hey, that's
Yeah.
a pretty good score
Ah,
right
Yes.
there.
Mhm.
I know when I was being raised, I was told, go to university, get a good degree, be
Mhm.
part of a big corporation, work yourself up the ladder. How is it you didn't get that message, or did you?
No, I did get that message. And I think that's what, it kind of delayed I've always wanted to be in the beauty industry, but I was always told that that's probably not the best thing to do. So I did go to college for other things. And after my generals, I decided that that's just still not the things that I wanted to do. So then I went to beauty school and I graduated kind of as like an older student at that time. Um, so it held me back a little bit by trying to do the things that were more favored.
hmm.
Yeah.
So how exactly did you get into franchise?
So I went to beauty school and I started working at Waxing the City. So I got hired here. I worked here for a few years. I got into management. And then I learned more from the owner, and she taught me how to pretty much run this studio. She didn't live in this town. She lived in a different town where she had her other studio. So that kind of gave me the freedom to make the decisions to run this place a little bit more because I was here by myself. And um she was, I think, looking to retire. And so she said that she's going to sell. And she said, you need to buy it. And I said, no way. And then after a while, I was like, why not? Why not look into it, see what she has to say? And I kind of learned a little bit more, had more of a relationship with the franchise team at our corporate office. And I fell in love with it. And I just realized, how would I ever work somewhere else? So
Hmm.
I took a leap of faith, I guess, and bought it.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. What's amazing to me is this was really an early career for you, how you went from, working in the business, managing the business to ultimately owning the business and then scaling that business, and choosing to do it the way you did, where you got to be mentored along the way, not just from everything you learned from your parents, but from the person that owned this business originally. So I think that's impressive. So were your parents in franchising, and what did you think about franchising initially? And has your opinion of franchising changed at all?
So my parents were not in franchising. My opinion in franchising, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't get introduced to it. Because I remember talking to the previous owner that I bought the company from, and I told her when she was like, "You need to buy it." And I'm like, it's just so expensive. Why would you work that hard to, pay somebody? And she goes, then spend that same amount of money and figure it out yourself. And at that point, I was kind of like, good point. And that's when I started developing better relationships with our corporate team and seeing all of what they do and how they support you and all of the things that they provide. It's a lot easier to have a business with a team behind you that's doesn't have to be there, but it is there. So I have found that it's maybe a little bit easier than doing it on your own.
For sure. There's no doubt. I've been in franchising 32 years, Kristi, and you're very blessed, not only to have a background in entrepreneurship and having her as a mentor there, and then introducing you to franchising. And now, as you pointed out, having a team, right, where you can make phone calls and ask questions and get the support you need. So it's a beautiful thing that you just kind of lucked into, which brings up another question that I which is you appear to be an optimistic person. I didn't hear in any of that journey where you had fear. Would you say you're optimistic? And if so, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, very optimistic, I guess. I just feel like failure is there. It's a possibility, but it's not necessarily an option for the result that I want. So I always look at things, the glass is always half full. It's not half empty. If it doesn't work this way, it'll work a different way. And things typically have always seemed to work themselves out. So the fear is there. I think it's always there, but if I let the fear have a bigger impact on what I'm doing, I don't think I would do it as well as I am.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great attitude to have. I think that fear probably limits the abundance mindset, right? So it's hard to attract abundance, if somebody's living in fear. But I'm a little curious, both of your current locations, they were formerly pre-owned,
Yeah, they both
and
were.
and you're opening up a third. That
Mhm.
is that from scratch?
It will be from scratch. So we just bought the territory and we will start doing the build out this spring.
Yeah, I'm just curious for people who maybe aren't as familiar with franchise, like what the difference is in running a business that you're literally starting from scratch versus walking into, and like what are some of the challenges that you have to face when you're walking into a business or when you're starting one from scratch?
Yeah, I think they both have their challenges. Walking into a business that I didn't start from scratch, that's already up and running. You have to be okay with what's going on, or you have to make changes so that it can operate better. And to change operations once it's been going for so long, it's very difficult. I found that to like walk in and make the changes. The employees are kind of like, who is this person? Why do you think your changes are better than what's going on? All of this seems like more work. And from my experience, I haven't really seen people do it without fear. They do it with fear. And that has it's been a little bit challenging, but along the way, it's been working. So it's been pretty good. Walking into a business from scratch, I don't know yet because we just bought the territory. So we haven't done that. I think it's a little bit easier for me to do it just because my background, I kind of feel like I know what to do. But the unknowns, I'm excited to know. I'm excited to work with the franchise and do those steps for business that I've never been able to do yet. I'm excited to just be a part of every process to build one of these places because I absolutely love them. So to just be a part of building one from scratch, I'm really excited to learn along the way. The unknowns, I mean, that's the scary part. What's going to happen? Are we going to find a good location? I mean, I think so, but there's just no guarantee of any of that. But being a part of a franchise, they're there to help you, do it with you. If you run into anything negative along the way, they work with you and they figure it out. So it's not that scary, I guess.
Well, what's exciting to me is this mindset that you have of taking chances, knowing it's going to work out and not allowing fear to grip you or hold you back.
Yeah.
So to do 3 locations and you're so young and so beautiful and you're making it work. Can you tell me a little bit? You got these 2 locations, we got a third that we're going to start from scratch. Were there differences in location 1 versus location 2? And did you have to make any changes to it? Because you already said that, culturally there were certain things going on that you were stepping into. Whether you agreed or disagreed is another story, and you had to make it your own. Was it different in each location?
Yes, I think so. Like being a part of a franchise, right? They have a business model, they have their tools that you can use, which you should use, and I use them and I follow their method pretty closely and I like it. I believe in it and it's worked for me. So taking over my first location was easy because I already worked here. I knew our clients. I know the community around me. So to make those changes in the beginning was hard because you have to think I came from managing and
Yeah.
now I own and I'm still with the same employees that I once worked alongside of. So that had its own difficulties as well. But they worked out, right? So I learned more from the franchise of what they do and what we weren't doing before. And there were things that I really liked and I implemented and they really worked for me. So my first location had I guess a good time frame, like a short time frame of where things turned around for the better. So I thought I could do it again. And so I bought the second location from the same owner. So I know what they were doing. I was very familiar with it. I knew what I wanted to implement so things could be just as good as my first location. Not that they were bad, just different. So I went up there. I kind of already worked with them too, so they knew who I was, but not as much. So, um, I had to say, hey, it's me, and this is what the changes that we're going to do. And I was so excited for it. And to get the stares of what is this? What are you talking about? It was like, okay, all right, a little more teaching, a little more training. So I was spending more time than I thought I would have to up there, but I wanted to. I wanted to implement these changes. I wanted to show the good that they come with. So implementing the changes up there was a little bit different because I'm not there every single day. They have a really good manager and she kind of takes my place as their cheerleader. So the changes are happening a lot faster now. But that it has difficulties there.
What strikes me is that a lot of times when somebody takes over a business, they want to clear house, right? They want to bring in their own people and do it their way. And I'm not hearing that with you. I'm hearing like, I want to show them how to do it the best way they can and, the most effective way. I know it's difficult in the beginning. It's going to take time, but it's going to make their lives easier in the long run. Is that like kind of like the thought process that you went in with?
No,
No.
no, 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 I liked who I worked with. I liked them. The bad part was when I took over my first location, I ended up having a new team in the end, and it was difficult. just seeing that people weren't okay with the changes, or maybe they didn't like the changes or had a hard time working with me and now for me. And there was a little bit of a struggle with that. And I did end up having to switch. Well, I guess I just hired a whole new team after a few months, I'd say everybody but one was
Right.
brand new. So my intentions is never to let people go or to think that they're not going to have a position just because the company is being bought, because for them that would be a scary thought too. So my thought is that if you can just adapt to the changes and just see that they're positive and they're going to benefit you in the long run, you're more than welcome to do that. And I would love that. But if not, then
Yeah. I mean,
they
it's a
don't
part.
have to. So just kind of thinking of, this is their job. They went to school for this too. This is what they want to do. So if they're okay with the changes and want to do it, they're more than welcome to, and they can make the decision if they don't want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
These pain points, these growing pain points are common. I'm so glad that you addressed them, and great question, Tracy. Because a leader creates kind of a heartbeat, right? It's a pace that they set and a culture, subculture that they're creating, and not everyone fits with new leadership and vice versa. Sometimes new leadership doesn't fit with the current team, even though the current team is doing great. It really is about compatibility amongst all of us that are part of this team. And when you change captains, right, you change leaders, not everybody is able to adjust. We see it all the time in franchising. So I'm really grateful that you addressed that this can be a challenge when you buy a going concern. Is there going to be some changes in how you handle it? I think it's beautiful. So the folks that you have now on your team kept them a long time. 5 years, that's a long time. How would they see you as a leadership? If they had to describe you in a few adjectives, what would they say? She's fun, she's decisive, she's play hard. What would they say about you?
My opinion on what they would say about me. I think I have a really good relationship with every single one of them. If they get married, we go to their wedding. If they have a baby, we go to their house and we meet their baby. I think that just on a caring level of their personal life, not just their work life, has just opened a door for them to be like happier in their workplace, maybe, and more comfortable. So maybe, I don't know what I'd have a word for that, but I don't know,
You care.
accepting,
You said the
caring.
word. You care. You
Yeah.
care beyond the work. You care about their lives and their loves and their babies and what's going on, not just within the doors of Waxing the City, but outside. So this is a caring heart that you have. It's beautiful. All right, let's go out into the future just a little bit. All right, we get store number 3, Waxing the City location number 3 going. How are you going to juggle all of that? What does that look like? I know you're Miss Optimism, but what's that all going to look like?
Gosh, I think that I have these 2 locations that I have now. They're under control. They're running really well. So I think that gives me the freedom to keep expanding. So I I don't know. I just don't think that it's going to be chaos or anything negative is going to come from it. I think that you just put people in positions for you to be able to leave. So, once they've worked here and they understand things more like an owner, then they can handle things better. And then now they're in a position to do that. And who doesn't like growth? So it benefits them. And it also benefits me to be able to expand. So one of the girls that I've been here with for about 5 years, she is going to be a co-owner of this third location. So it'll be her first location of ownership, my third, but she's been here for a really long time, and she's always had interest in opening a business. So I felt like, why not? We'll do the next one together to kind of give her the freedom, which kind of stinks for me because then I lose her here, but
Mm.
would I have lost her to her own business otherwise, or can I keep her around by doing it with her? So having her do that with me, it just ensures that maybe I'll have some more help, or maybe she'd manage that one and kind of take care of that one. I mean, also me too, but the help is great, and it also puts the fears aside to just know that everything's going to work out.
The paying it back or paying it forward type of
Yeah.
cycle, that's really nice. You're a
Yeah.
mentor to her. You had a mentor.
She actually started here at the front desk, so she just took phone calls, and then she decided to go to school for this, and she's been working here ever since. So I think she didn't know exactly what she wanted to do until she started here, and now she's going to go into ownership, and that's really cool for me to see that she started here with me and has the same intentions that I have.
Yeah.
It.
So, which leads me to a question I thought of a little while ago, which was if you had to just name one thing about what you love most about entrepreneurship, business ownership, what would that one, if it all boiled down to just one thing, what would that one thing be?
Exactly what I just said. Having somebody see what you do and developing the passion for the same thing. So I think in my mind, what was it that made her want to go to school? What made her want to work here? What made her curious about ownership? And I like to give myself a pat on the back to say probably me and everything that I taught her. So just seeing that come from what I wake up and I just come here, come to my office every single day. It actually makes a difference in someone else's life to the point where they want to have ownership in a company with you. I think that's really special. And it might not even go that far, but just to see the employees and they want the growth and they want other opportunities here and they want to like be excited like you are and like help me. I don't think they look at it like that, like, oh, we're helping Kristi. I think that they see the fun in what we do and they want more of it, and in turn I it's like they want to do that, and it's helping me, and just watching them learn and grow from what I do is really cool.
Inspirational. You
Mhm.
inspire.
Very interesting. Yeah, you were a model for this, and now you are the mentee has become the mentor, which is giving you that satisfaction of others catching the passion, right? And that's what they're doing. They're catching the passion, and they've had the safeguard of you right alongside of them, showing them how it's done, and encouraging them. It's interesting. What popped in my head as you were talking about this was this really isn't about money for you or just money for you. There's something bigger here. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. So I don't feel like people would do that if they didn't have the benefits of it. So it is money, but it also, I feel in my experiences that if you go into it just with the intentions of making money, you're not going to be able to make the most money. So I
Mhm.
always say I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel the passion for it. So what's more fulfilling to me is relationships with people over money. So I'm in it because I love being here every single day. I love the people that I work with. And beyond that, we have so many clients that were once strangers and some still are, and they're not anymore. And just those relationships with them, um, I think it fills my cup a little bit more to have positive relationships in life than making a ton of money and not having that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Nice.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully stated. And that's really the purpose of this podcast, Kristi, is to demonstrate when passion and purpose do collide, there
Mhm.
is much greater satisfaction. And that when we choose a business or we build a business, that needs to be an incremental part of it. It's what will fuel us through those challenges, like what you had with store number two. It's what fueled you to keep looking for solutions and making it work.
Mhm.
And it's what's fueling you to continue to grow. And in this case, also creating other entrepreneurs. You're creating an entrepreneur right there in front of you.
Mhm.
So this is much to be commended. I'm impressed by you, especially as young as you are. Um, I'm just seriously impressed by you, girl.
Thank you.
So, quick question.
Mhm.
If you could go back in your entrepreneurial journey and change one thing, what would that one thing be?
The days I spent worrying because it wasn't anything to worry about. So when I look back and I told the previous owner, not a chance will I buy this. Why did I say that? And then throughout the buying process and the whole process, I guess, the amount of unknowns that I spent all that time worrying about, it wasn't a worry when I look back. So to not have those days would be great. And I think that's what kind of prepares me to take on more is because everything's, I mean, even if it didn't work out, it found a way to work out in the end. So I think that's what allows me to be less fearful going forward.
Nice.
That's that's amazing. Just to not worry so much. I mean,
Mhm.
part of me goes, "Oh, that's great to say, but how do you do that?" Right? And I think it really is from this mindset that you have, Kristi, of it's going to work out. Good is going to come out of this, that optimistic, so you don't belabor those little fears or those worries or even big fears and worries. You don't stay there. You pull yourself out of there and say, good's going to come out of this.
Mhm.
So this mindset that you have, do you have to remind yourself daily? Okay, let's look at it. Don't worry, it's going to work out. Or is it just now hardwired in your mind and in your body?
Yeah, I think it's more natural. I think it definitely took a lot of practice, but now it's just
Just who
I don't
you
know. I just feel so confident in my support system, which is the franchise for the most part. And I'm just very confident in the things they introduce and the way to roll out new things and how to talk to your staff about new things or even how to, combat those scary times that the staff might be feeling. I just have so much confidence that they will lead me to success even when I can't do it. So I guess they're kind of like having a buddy, if you were solo and you had your own business, and I have friends that do that, they always say no one knows what it's like.
Mhm.
And I was feeling like that at one point too, is no one knows what it feels like, the weight's on your shoulders if you fail. I mean, everything could be taken from you. And when you're a new employee, you don't really have those thoughts of what that does to the business you work for and stuff. So very rarely do people know what it's like when you're dealing with negative situations. And I just feel like whenever I am in that situation or feeling that nobody understands, I can just call up the
Mhm.
franchise and they're like, oh, you're not alone. And I'm like, okay, I feel better now. And what are they doing? Or what are other owners, Waxing City owners doing? Or, you know, help me. And they do.
That really moved me, by the way, because I can think of 1,000 times. I go, if there just was someone I could talk to who went ahead of me, went through this themselves, no one truly understands. I'm not a franchise, I'm a psychographic assessment company. and like just somebody, I want somebody to understand. And as a franchisee with Wax New Cities, there are others that have felt these same things, gone through these same things that you could pick up a phone and go,
Yeah.
and they,
Yeah, it is truly bigger than just the franchise alone because the other owners are in the same boat. I don't think there's one that knows exactly what to do and does everything perfect. And I don't think that there's one that even acts like it. And every time that we want to get together and ask questions, there are other owners that are like me too. And so it goes beyond just the franchise for help, it's the other owners too.
yeah, that's so beautiful.
Mhm.
So I hate to do this, ladies, but we're coming up on our time. And I want to make sure for those that are listening that they know how to learn more about Waxing the City. And if they want to reach out to you personally, how they might be able to do that. Is it best to go to the website? Is that where they can find out things?
I would probably say like email, or you could find our social media for the 2 locations that I have because I manage our social media, so it does come right to me. So that's another way too.
What did we do before social media?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. If you had a message, Kristi, to future entrepreneurs, future business owners, women who are considering that, what would that message be?
I guess go into business if it feels right, do it with your heart, love what you're about to be doing. That'll lead you to success, and try to put all of your fears aside. Because they'll hold you back instead of get you to where you want to be, and just go for it.
Beautiful advice. Kristi, I want to thank you for your time today. You have inspired me to focus more on that mindset, and to also build a network, just a supportive network as what you have. Tracy, any final thoughts from you?
It's interesting that you said build the network,
The
Rebecca.
network around you. Mhm.
Yeah, because the thing that strikes me about you, Kristi, is you're not only so optimistic and you have such a positive attitude, it's also the fact that you're so collaborative. Like
Mhm.
you want to try it with a team, people are welcome to join you, you're paying it back or paying it forward with mentorship. Um, this whole concept of team, of building it together, I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing because it shows that you're very, um, I guess, very, very open to collaboration, very open to sharing your knowledge that you've acquired. And there seems to be a lot of that knowledge in your brain. And I think it's wonderful that people get to access that and, for you to build future leaders and future business owners. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
What's bizarre to me about this is you're so nonchalant about it.
I
Like,
know.
well, of
Yeah.
course you're supposed to, like, it's
Yeah.
so natural, right? Uh, you just do it. It's not like, okay, I have a strategy for this. It's you do it.
Yeah.
It's really hardwired in you. It's natural for you.
Yeah.
You were born to be an entrepreneur. There is just no doubt. And I don't say that often because I believe anyone can grow a business if they have the right tools. But you were born to be a business owner and to scale. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
You are fabulous. Thank you to you, and thank you to our audience that are listening. And make sure to comment, make sure to like, make sure, most importantly, to share this interview. And we'll see you next week on another episode of the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged.